What's up, Big Connect? How we doing? Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to another Nerdy Sermon Talkback. I've been thinking about these. We may have a conversation today, depending on who's around, just about how we can continue to improve these, what we're thinking about these, if the time works, doesn't work, if we need a different day or time or activities, what we need. I want to make sure you guys are feeling fed by this time. We got to figure out what that looks like. Okay. First things first, I got to do everything again because my daughter messed with all of the soundboard. Isn't that fun? So I got to do the guitar stuff again. I'm sorry, folks. We got to make sure everything sounds okay. Which I guess means we should probably turn off Spoofy, huh? Should probably pull up the actual song for today. That would help. And I might need to tune, because that sounded rough. Is there anyone that fails? Is there anyone that falls? Sounds okay. Is there anyone that fails? Is there anyone that falls? Am I the only one in church today? Feeling so small. See, I'm feeling like it's just coming through this microphone is the issue. I knew it, dude. I knew it. I knew it was only coming through there. I wonder if it's because it's got phantom power. Man, I'm just glad I figured it out. I don't even know if I have a 9-volt. It might just be that this is dead. Do I have a 9-volt anywhere? Okay, now I should be able to hear things. As pastor, you're to stare blankly at tech, not fix the problem yourself, right? Yeah, it's gotta be the 9-volt. I'm gonna go look for one real fast. If I don't have one, we'll just get into it and make it work. It sounds fine, but it would sound so much better running through the mixer. I'll turn on some spoofy. I'll put you guys with just pure blankness in the background. Aha! It's better than I thought. Not only do I have a 9-volt, I also have watch batteries so I can do my tuner. Trombone, what's up, what's up? How we doing? How is the child doing? Feeling better? That's what's so weird, Trombone, is that Nora never felt bad. I actually have the crud now, and I think I feel worse than she ever did. She has been fine since the very beginning. She was ready to go to school. She was sad that she couldn't go to school on Monday. But thank you for asking. Rest assured, she is A-okay. She's feeling good. She is back at school, loving life. Yes! All right, let's change out this bad boy. And see if we can't get a better level on this thing. It may just be that I have to go into a direct box because I'm running phantom power, and if that's the case, then that's the case. I have a direct box. We can technically do something pretty cool with it. I could have a second camera going wirelessly, and we could have that second set actually being utilized for once. Okay. I'm about to vanish again. Spoofy. Yeah, that should sound significantly better. Hopefully. Now that we're going to get it tuned, too. So, folks, welcome to our Nerdy Sermon Talkback. We're going to sing a quick song for contemplation. You can sing along if you know the song. Ooh, don't like that. What just happened? Oh, that's very strange. All right, we're just not going to worry about that for right now. yeah, we're going to contemplate together, and then we're going to watch our nerdy sermon together. And any questions that you might have, or thoughts about the nerdy sermon, or thoughts about Checkpoint in general, or questions, it's an open AMA until 9:55, whenever I've got to hop off a little bit early today, just because that is the way the cookie has crumbled today. So, yeah, as I said, I'm going to go spam real fast over on our Discord to let people know that we're live. At chat, nerdy sermon Talkback is live. All right. So yeah, the plan for today, we're going to sing this song. Again, I'll put the lyrics up on the screen. If you know the song, you're welcome to sing it. If you don't, just hear and contemplate these words. Kind of consider this time together. If I hit the notes, it'll be a miracle today because I am sick, but the meaning of the words is what matters the most anyway. But this song is a song, it's an oldie. It's an oldie, at least for me. For people that are my age, it probably feels like not an oldie, and I probably just offended you by even calling it an oldie. I grew up on Casting Crowns. I love Casting Crowns, so they're always one of my favorites, but this is off their first album. Stained Glass Masquerade. Made me think immediately of our sermon for today, immediately of the thing that we're talking about from Summertime Rendering. If you haven't watched the nerdy sermon yet, let me know. We'll be watching it together for the first time in just a moment after the song is over. But I'm going to put the lyrics up here, and hopefully you can see those okay. And again, hopefully the notes all come out okay this morning. Saw them in concert a few times as a kid. I have seen them in concert more times than I would like to admit, and I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. So, but this song anyway is just really good word. A good word, as they say. So here we go. And I think I'm going to change it up a little bit because we're a little bit different, right? I mean, we're a different group than other groups. And so it says, am I the only one in church today feeling so small? I'm going to say the only one in chat today because we are. We're in chat. This is our church building, right? So, well, technically our Discord, but you guys get the idea. Is there anyone that fails? Is there anyone that falls? Am I the only one in chat today feeling so small? When I take a look around, everybody seems so strong. I know they'll soon discover that I don't belong. So I tuck it all away like everything's okay. If I make them all believe it, maybe I'll believe it too. So with a painted grin, I play the part again, so everyone will see me the way that I see them. Are we happy plastic people under shiny plastic steeples, with walls around our weakness and smiles throughout our pain? If the invitation's open to every heart that has been broken, maybe then we close the curtain on our stained glass masquerade. Is there anyone who's been there? Are there any hands to raise? Am I the only one who's traded in the altar for a stage? The performance is convincing. We know every line by heart. Only when no one is watching can we really fall apart. But would it set me free if I dared to let you see the truth beyond the person you imagine me to be? Would your arms be open, or would you walk away? Would the love of Jesus be enough to make you stay? Are we happy plastic people under shiny plastic steeples, with walls around our weakness and smiles throughout our pain? If the invitation's open, every heart that has been broken, maybe then we close the curtain on our stained glass masquerade. If the invitation's open to every heart that has been broken, maybe then we close the curtain on our stained glass masquerade. Is there anyone that fails? Is there anyone that falls? Am I the only one in chat today feeling so small? When I take a look around, everybody seems so strong. I know they'll soon discover that I don't belong. All right. Enjoy our video for today. I'm a sucker for a lot of things, but throw together a psychological horror mystery time loop storyline and make it an anime? I'm all aboard, baby. When I heard about the premise of summertime rendering, I needed to binge it all in one sitting. But then I remembered that I have a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old, and I guess I have to actually raise them, so I'll binge it slightly slower, I guess. As I was watching this new anime, I quickly noticed some striking parallels with a familiar lament from the Bible. How well do we know ourselves? While the characters in the show are literally being killed by themselves as ghost-like shadows, don't we tend to get in our way pretty often? This nerdy sermon will discuss how we can learn to avoid shadow sickness other than just staying off of the island to begin with. Let's talk about it. Folks, welcome to Checkpoint Church, where nerds, geeks, and gamers come together to talk about faith, games, and trying to make it through this video without looking over my shoulder for a shadow person. I am your nerd pastor, Nate. If you like these weekly deep dives, be sure to sub, hit that bell, and find out when our next one drops. Folks, we're starting something new with this video. We're going to be having a guest reader, one of our level 2 members from Checkpoint Church. If you want to learn more about level 2, we have tons of information on that down below. And today it is going to be presented to us by Sneaky Pig, also known as Mike. I'm going to be reading from Romans chapter 7, verses 14 through 25. He's going to be reading from the NRSV UE. That's my preferred translation. It's what's going to be on the screen. With that, let's hear today's word from Sneaky Pig.
Romans 7, 14 through 25. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am of the flesh, sold into slavery under sin. I do not understand my own actions. For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing that I hate. Now, if I do what I do not want, I agree that the law is good. But in fact, it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. For I know that the good does not dwell within me, that is, in my flesh. For the desire to do the good lies close at hand, but not the ability. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I do. Now, if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. So I find it to be a law that when I want to do what is good, evil lies close at hand. For I delight in the law of God in my inmost self, but I see in my members another law, a war with the law of my mind, making me captive to the law of sin that dwells in my members. Wretched person that I am, who will rescue me from this body of death? Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then with my mind I am enslaved to the law of God, but with my flesh I am enslaved to the law of sin.
So what exactly is summertime rendering? Spoilers for just the first episode of this show. I don't want to spoil any more than that because I want you to watch this show because I am loving it. Shinpei is returning to his hometown of Hitogashima, a small island with a population of like 700. So crazy small, perfect setting for a horror show. It's been 2 years since he was last there, but why is he back now? Well, he intends to attend his childhood friend Ushio's funeral on July 22nd. Kind of a downer of a first episode, I know, but it makes for a great drama. As soon as he steps onto the island, Shinpei is greeted by a speeding Mio on a bike, Ushio's little sister. She is unable to stop and ends up falling in the water. And once she gets herself back together, the two reconnect as they walk back towards the funeral. As they're walking along, Mio reveals that the island now has a bunch of new people that she doesn't know. But lately, even the people that she does know are kind of feeling a little bit like strangers. Shinpei just guesses that maybe it's because there are tourists around this time of year, but pretty sus thing to say. Once they arrive at the funeral, Shinpei tells the viewer that he lost his parents 10 years ago and was taken in by the Kafune family, making Ushio not only a childhood friend, but
family, too. At the funeral, another childhood BFF So hugs Shinpei and cries, explaining that Ushio tried to save a child, and that is how she died when she wound up drowning, except maybe there's more to it. So wants to talk later, and after explaining that, points out Shiori, who is a little girl that Ushio saved, but hasn't spoken since. It's getting weird, right? It's getting real weird. Later that night, Shinpei is preparing curry for Mio, her dad, and an honorary plate for Ushio, and as they're eating, we go outside of the house, and we see a police officer in town has noticed that Mio is standing outside of the house looking at it, but she's inside eating curry. I'm on board! After dinner, So calls Shinpei and explains that his father didn't actually perform an autopsy like everyone had been told, but that he was actually only there for the police's inquest. However, they did find marks on Ushio's neck, similar to strangling, making it more likely that Ushio was actually murdered, not drowned. The next day, Shinpei goes to work at the diner of Mio's dad, and while he's there helping out, a drunk customer, Nakamura, asks Shinpei if he'd found who he was looking for. But as far as we know, we've been with Shinpei the entire time, and we've never met this guy before. It's getting good! The town police officer then walks into the diner and explains that all of the family of the little girl that was saved have vanished. In the morning, everybody went to go check and see what was going on, but for some reason, they're not there. Tetsu, the sheriff, says that he believes they may have fled during the night. Upon hearing this, Mio runs out of the store in a mad rush. Shinpei runs out after her, of course, and finally catches up to her. Mio then explains that she had talked to Shiori, the little girl, and she said that Shiori had told her she saw a girl who looked just like herself. We learn this is actually a superstition on this island called the shadow sickness. It's a disease endemic to the island. If you're taken by the shadow sickness, you start seeing your shadow. They look just like you. And all those who saw it died. They were killed by their own shadow. The shadow then pretends to be the one that it killed and kills the remaining family members. Mio reveals that 3 days before Ushio died, Mio saw Ushio's shadow too. Shinpei suggests that they go to Haruko to get cleansed. Haruko is the nickname for the Hito Shrine in the northern part of the island, and it's how you're supposed to get rid of the shadow sickness. Once they get to the shrine, Shinpei tries to open the door, but it's locked. Mio looks at the forest and sees a figure running. Mio states that she saw Shiori and makes Shinpei run. Shinpei ends up finding not the little girl, but instead the woman with glasses that he bumped into at the beginning of the episode. We all thought that was just filler and just kind of a weird intro to a show, but now here she is again from the beginning of the show, bleeding with a gun wound on the ground. The woman says that she failed and tells Shinpei that he must listen, but before she can finish talking, she gets shot, dead, right before Shinpei's eyes. Shinpei then turns to see that Mio is holding a gun against the temple of another Mio. She then pulls the trigger and kills Mio, and then she points straight ahead and shoots Shinpei in the head, dead. End of show, right? Roll credits, we're done. It's a horror short, and I guess we're done. Well, not quite. Suddenly, Shinpei startles awake and wakes up on the boat, starting us back from where we started the whole story. Now, I don't know about y'all, but just saying all of that made me want to go back and watch that first episode all over again. It's so good. The mystery, the setups, the possibility for huge payoffs. I love every minute of it. And this is just the first episode. There are still 20 more out right now to go binge if you think this sounds curious, and the season's going to be done before too long, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But the important question we want to ask ourselves in this video is, what could this possibly have to do with our Pauline scripture for today? Well, this passage from Paul is one of the more complicated bits of paradoxical wordplay that Paul is known for. There's a lot happening here that we could dive into. Paul's establishing a third-party character in the form of the I that he is portraying in this instance. He's also doing work to make the law something passive and spiritual apart from humanity and sin. And he's also discussing the active life of grace in the controversial form of spiritual warfare. It's the latter one of these that we're going to be focusing on for this video. We're mostly going to focus on the middle part of the passage where the character that Paul is portraying laments that I do not understand my own actions. For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing that I hate. Now, if I do what I do not want, I agree that the law is good, but in fact it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. For I know that the good that does not dwell within me, that is in my flesh. For the desire to do the good lies close at hand, but not the ability. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I do now. If I do what I do not want, it is no longer I who do it, but the sin that dwells within me. So I find it to be law that when I want to do what is good, evil lies close at hand. So we have our main person in this situation. We'll call them Bartholomew or Barty. Barty knows the law, as in the teachings of God passed from Moses and the prophets. Barty also knows Jesus, who made the law fulfilled, not thrown out, but fulfilled, expounded upon, made deeper and more full. However, Barty still has this thing within them that feeds them temptation. We'll call this dark side or shadow side bad Barty or Babarty. Barty knows the good and wants to do the good. Babarty doesn't. When Barty tries to do the good thing that they want to do, but Barty notices and gets more involved in the situation. So Barty is in this constant battle of the mind, fighting to maintain the focus on the good thing that they want to do. But it's a war of attrition. So the better Barty is, the harder Barty hits back. So it's a literal battle with what Paul calls the flesh, which some take to interpret our literal physical body, or we can call it a metaphysical affliction that we can simply call sin. Who can save us from this body of death, asks Paul. Well, it's only through Jesus, of course, and what Paul calls an enslavement to the law, which we've already determined the law is good and perfect. Paul says if we aren't enslaved to it, then we will be enslaved to Babardi, and nobody wants that except, of course, for Babardi. The key distinction here is that, unlike in a game like Celeste, the dark version of ourself in Paul's narrative is not just our imperfections that we need to learn to make friends with. Instead, the dark version of ourself is not actually us at all. It's an embodied form of pure evil incarnate that is just wearing our skin, that just looks and feels like us, but the flesh isn't actually you. It's something else entirely. In Methodism, we have this understanding of grace that's honestly a little bit easier to show you than tell you about, called the works of grace. We all start at the same place with prevenient grace before we even meet Jesus. So we'll call that right there prevenient grace. It's before we ever reach the cross. Then, once we do meet Jesus and we accept him as our Lord and Savior, that starts what we called justifying grace. Once we enter into the next part of grace is where things start to get a little bit tricky. This is also where Paul arguably starts this passage that we've just started reading. This enters into the time called sanctifying grace, and there's a few understandings of how this could work. Some people think that sanctifying grace is really short, and we just immediately go up to the top of the board with this thing called perfecting grace, where we're perfect right away. Others believe that sanctifying grace is something that takes a lifetime, and it may or may not be possible to reach perfecting grace before we even pass to the church triumphant in heaven or not. So we'll call this prevenient, justifying, and perfecting, and then all this stuff in between here is sanctifying grace. Now, some people want to draw the line a little bit like this. And people just like to assume that sanctifying grace is this phase where we're going upwards, 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 every day getting better and closer to Jesus and to the perfection that we're hoping for. But of course, this is not realistic, is it? Because the truth of sanctifying grace is that it's actually a battlefield. A way more accurate interpretation of this whole thing would be like, some days I'm feeling really good and other days I'm feeling really bad, and sometimes I go up, sometimes I go down, sometimes I even backstep, and sometimes I'm doing really, really bad, and then at the last minute get way better, right? That's a way more accurate representation of what sanctifying grace actually looks like. It's a lifetime of a battlefield, of back and forth and ups and downs, hard days and good days, some that are easier to deal with than others. For this reason, we're in a constant need to pursue some kind of focus. Paul calls this focus enslavement. We can choose to keep our eyes on the prize and focus on perfection, as Jesus calls us to be perfect as my Father in heaven and I are perfect. Or we cannot focus and be unprepared in the battlefield. It shouldn't take too much to see how these two stories relate. The mystery of summertime rendering is a great allegory for the one that we're enduring after accepting Jesus. It's kind of like the shadow sickness in the show. Once we see our shadow self, they're going to hunt us down. Once we see that who we are meant to be isn't the dark version of ourselves, it opens up something else entirely, and sanctifying grace begins. It's a game of cat and mouse. And the best way to avoid capture in real life is to keep your eyes on the prize. I won't spoil how best to avoid the shadows in summertime rendering because I want you to watch and find out, but it's still important to recall this and to think of what this could actually mean for us today. So what can we take away from this conversation? Now, I know that the topic of spiritual warfare and grace being a battlefield is one that can likely be pretty quickly absconded by folks who want to stir up controversy and share some bad theology. But the truth of spiritual warfare is that it doesn't often find its focus in one thing or another being sinful, but instead it's a battle within your own self. The best thing we can personally do is to be in constant check of our situation. Know what harms us or what distracts us. Take every effort to fight against those things. Focus instead on the things that Jesus calls us to do. Love your neighbor, love yourself, share extravagantly, live fully and deeply into the grace being offered up. But there is one piece of bad theology that I really want to tackle and address here. Don't believe that the shadow side is actually who you are. You are not your flesh. If you've accepted Jesus, then you are something new and reborn. You are no longer enslaved to the sin that weighed you down. Don't let anyone, preacher or not, tell you that you are bad or that you are sin. Sin afflicts you, as it afflicts all of us. But you're not sin. You're sacred stuff, and you matter. And whether you're just coming home, whether you never left, or are feeling a little bit lost right now, know that you're always welcome here at Checkpoint Church. Folks, thank you so much for watching this video. I so appreciate you taking time out of your weeks to...
There we go. So that is the nerdy sermon for today. It looks like most people had not seen it before. So that is good. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully I convinced you to go watch some Summertime Rendering. It's hard. It's very hard to find. However, I did see a mistruth shared online that if you are somehow able to procure access to Disney Plus in Japan, that there are no captions, and that is not true. There are English captions. Just saying. Just saying, if by some miraculous measure you are able to procure access to Disney Plus Japan, you will be able to understand the show. So, that's all I have to say about that. What immediate responses do we have? What questions? What thoughts? What did you come away with that from? Special thanks to Sneaky Pigs for being our liturgist, for reading off our scripture this Sunday. I love that. I love that we have level 2 people now participating in that way. I think that's really cool. So that's very exciting for me. I guess I can start with the question from our actual video at the end. If you watch to the end, you know we always have a question right at the end of it. If I can find it, that would be a miracle, wouldn't it? Do I not have it saved for some reason? I think it was what is your favorite genre of horror? So Summertime Rendering is a horror show, but it is very much like on the precipice of, it's not, I mean, there are definitely some scenes that are shocking and disturbing, but it's not like gory. It's not like scary per se. It's more of a psychological thriller, and I love that. That's my favorite genre of horror. So if you have a favorite genre of horror, drop it down in the chat. Let me know what you're working with. Yeah, so sure enough, Wandering Knight, I'm looking now, and only the right side of my audio is coming through. Very weird. Yep. Very, very strange. Yep. No clue why. Love psychological thrillers. They're such a good genre, such an excellent genre of storytelling. So immediately upon watching this video and on talking about Summertime Rendering, I have continued to binge this show and to watch it bit by bit. And 7 is definitely a psychological thriller. Yeah. 7 is absolutely right up there with the rest of them. If you enjoyed 7, you would probably enjoy Summertime Rendering. Very similar vibes. More fantastic. And the further and further I've gotten into Summertime Rendering, the more and more fantastic it's gotten. But I still really, really love it. Still really, really enjoying it. But the deeper and deeper I've gotten into the show, the more and more I've realized that I could write a whole plethora of nerdy sermons on this show, because it is just rife with meaning and symbols and overlapping theology with things that I could talk about for days on end. So there's a lot to this one. I would recommend it very highly. It is a real mess up by Disney Plus for not getting this into more people's hands. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know why Disney would buy anime and then only drop it in Japan. Very strange move. Hopefully they'll bring it over soon. I wonder if they have any plans to. Interesting. So the full story is actually told in the show, but they're talking about a season 2. Very interesting. 5 months ago, they said it might start airing in the US, but I have no idea. Nobody can confirm or deny. If it ever comes to the US and you aren't interested in procuring different ways to access Disney Plus Japan, then I highly encourage you to watch it because it's an excellent anime. Fantastic show so far. Really good characters, good character building, good story, good mystery. It actually really reminds me of a video game series called Umineko When They Cry, which if you've ever played those games, they're visual novels. They're very dense. Visual novel is basically a book, but these are like the Silmarillion of visual novels. So they are... I wonder, let's look it up just out of curiosity. How long to beat? How long to beat Umineko? Wow, dude. That's so long, man. Wow. Oh my gosh. These games are so long. So it's broken into 2 stories. They're 3 arcs each. The first game is 59 hours. The second game is 51. What? 110 hours. That's so many. Umineko When They Cry. Worth it. Worth it. Great games. Fantastic storytelling there as well. So as always, the way that we want to do this is we will turn to our Discord and see if there are any questions in there. There weren't this week. So folks, please do. If you have any questions or thoughts on these sermons, let me know, because the more that we respond to them, the more I'm able to respond here during these Wednesday talkbacks. We also didn't have any response on YouTube. So I don't know if it's that this isn't reaching the target audience that it is supposed to yet, or if I need to share it maybe on TikTok to do a little bit better work of getting it to the right eyeballs. Too daunting for me to even start, right? Well, and these are very scary. They're pretty scary. I don't know. They're definitely psychological horror, but they're also very a lot of death, a lot of gore. That's pretty dark stuff. And if I'll just say that if people have a problem with me preaching on Cult of the Lamb, they're really going to have a problem with Umineko, because it actually is kind of satanic and cultish. Witches. But yeah, no questions over on the YouTube either. I'm a sucker. Oop, hush. Which is okay. It will allow for us to have even better conversation if we're able to have responses and questions to these things. So this actually brings me to a really interesting conversation topic. If any of you are interested in weighing in and letting me know more about these weekly Nerdy Sermon Talkbacks, let me know what you want from these. What would be valuable to you? What would be something that would make these worth tuning into live every single week? Obviously starting with a song to kind of center us and get us into a place of contemplation is unique. But what can we do beyond that? Could this be a time where we kind of collect like a live prayer request list? Could we have like an exclamation point prayer or whatever, where we drop prayers and let this be kind of a time of communal prayer? Or should we go over the prayer request channel over on Discord? I don't know what to do with this time and space. Should I have prepped questions? Is that boring or is that interesting? I always like to give you guys a peek behind the curtain, but in all honesty, there really wasn't much behind the curtain of this one. It was pretty straightforward storytelling of the first episode and letting you guys know what the first episode was about to try and entice you to watch the show. Because that's my secret ultimate goal, is that I want you to watch this show for yourself so desperately. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. I need you to experience the show. You know what? My daughter played with the not the keyboard, the soundboard. That's what it is. Nora Jane. Oh my goodness, that baby. I bet I'm coming through both sides now, Wandering Knight. Oh, Nora. I caught her playing with the mixer board and I thought I fixed everything, but the one thing I didn't think to look at was the pan. They were all panned all the way to the left. Nora. There's nobody like her. But yeah, if you guys have any feedback or thoughts or what you'd like these times to turn into, please let me know, because I want to make them fulfilling for you. I want to make them worth experiencing, you know? Yakeem, I saw that you subbed, and I appreciate the sub. Let me know if you are able, or if you're around, let me know how hard you'd like me to spin the sub wheel, and clockwise or counterclockwise, and we'll make that happen for you. We'll get you a sub prize there, my friend. I love this time. Work is just crazy this morning, so I'm half listening right now. And I appreciate that. I appreciate if you guys just value this time, and maybe you want this to be not a back burner, a background noise. And if you want it to be a background noise, that's also what I'm kind of asking is like, what can I do to provide better background noise? You know, I want to make sure that I am providing what you guys need with this space and time. So whatever that looks like, let me know. Give me some feedback. I can prepare questions, or I could prepare conversations, or I could maybe have like people that want to hop into a chat afterwards, and we have kind of like our own little mini discussion session. I can try and find people that really like anime to talk about anime episodes, or people that really have been watching this or experiencing this to talk about their takes on it. I'm all about building the community into it, so that might be another thing that we could look into. The tricky thing is obviously the time of day. I have this purely in the morning because I think that it's important to just try and spread out our time and play with other times.
There may be some cookie in that batch on shotgun.
Thank you, Cookie Monster. All right, Trombone, let's see what's in the Scotch Bond for you, my friend. Friends, we all the way home. We will be streaming this evening. We'll be playing some kind of game together. Currently, the leading trend looks to be Pokemon Unite, but Splatoon 3 is also on the table. Trombone, trivia or mystery? Which one would you like? Trivia or mystery? What are you feeling? What's the flavor of the day? I've never watched Fire Force, but I love that. I love that opening. That OP is one of my favorites. All right, trivia it is. As always, I will read it twice and then count to 15. Type in the chat your answer before I reach 15. Whew. Good luck. All right. Name 3 of the 4 British cities that have underground rail systems. Name 3 of the 4 British cities that have underground rail systems. I'll count to 25 for you then if you got major delays right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is 1. 2 more. 13, 14, 15. Oh no, Yakeem! It's Trombone's answer. But you did get one of them. But I'll say that you didn't get the other 2. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Sorry, Trombone. This is a tough one. I would have never in my entire life gotten this. It is not Manchester. The 4, at least as of the time of this trivia, so I don't know if this is still accurate, but of the 4 British cities that have underground rail systems, you got London, but the other 3 that were remaining were Liverpool, the lovely lads of Liverpool, Glasgow, I don't know which one it is, and Newcastle. Those are the 4. So, congratulations, Trombone. $1 goes to my charity of choice, which is, of course, the Carolina Manga Library. Things was not working for the moment there. Hey, you're all good. I would have never in a million years have gotten that. Not even a chance. I probably wouldn't even thought of London. I would have blanked out and not even known London was a city. Not even a thing. But yeah, I'm always compelled to talk more and more about anime. One of our interesting things about these nerdy sermons that I've noticed over on our YouTube channel, which by the way, we reached 500 subscribers, so chats in the clap for 500 subs. Very excited about the possibilities there. But I always find that our anime sermons do the best. So I was intrigued that this one didn't pop off. It's anybody's guess, really. Sometimes these work really well, sometimes they absolutely do not. But that's really not what they're about. It's just fun to look at. Ultimately, what they're about is what we're doing right now, where we're sitting down and discussing them and talking through these things. Interestingly enough, we did get in trouble. Not trouble, but She-Hulk is not doing well. She-Hulk has gotten more dislikes than we've gotten in things in a long time. So I don't know what that means. We stepped on some toes, I guess. We have so She-Hulk has a fourth of the views and almost as many likes or dislikes as the Cult of the Lamb one. Very intriguing. We do continue to have feedback on the Cult of the Lamb one. We continue to have conversations and comments there. One of our most commented on of this quarter. I think it's just an interesting subject to think about and to talk about. But yeah, who knows? We got another 15 minutes here, folks. So let me know any questions you might have. They can be questions about the sermon. They can be questions about anime. They can be questions about Checkpoint Church. They can be questions about whatever you would like to know. Whatever would you like to hear? Ask away. I'm an open book. I'm always happy to answer. Talk through these things. Work through these things together. I knew that Liverpool had a lot underground, but I couldn't remember if it was all underground or not. I would never have known. I'm enjoying She-Hulk, but it does seem to not be doing well overall. Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's what cut out. It was Liverpool, Glasgow, whichever one, Newcastle, and London. Yeah, I'm not opposed to She-Hulk. I think it's fine. I think that it's very clearly written for laughs, for goofs, and for gaffs. And I think that it's doing what it needs to do, but people just didn't really want what it's offering. Not everything Marvel makes can be a hit. It just doesn't work that way. But I'm enjoying it enough. Let's see what I gave it on Serialized. By the way, folks, if you ever want to follow me on any of the various review platforms that I have out there, !Nate in the chat will pull up my link tree. You're welcome to check that out. I post a lot of reviews. I watch a lot of things. Now let's see how She-Hulk has done in my reviews. 3 stars on the latest episode. Do I not have it? Can I not look by episode? I guess a new episode happens tomorrow, huh? Yeah, 3 stars. I gave it 3.5 on the episode 3 with Emil Blonsky, and then 3 stars again on the last one. It's pretty run-of-the-mill, middle of the road. I think people that are giving it 1 star are not being fair. Lurk for the last remaining bet. See y'all in the Discord. All good, Sneaky. Thanks for spamming that Discord there. I was originally thinking of Glasgow as well, but I tried to remember whether you said British or English, and so since it was technically in Scotland, that's what was confusing me as well. Oops. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I would have never in a million years known the answer to any of these things. But yeah, She-Hulk is okay. She-Hulk is just okay. The writing is probably what's roughest about it, I think. Licorice Recoil is almost done too. Working to the end. It's because of your trip. Got you. Yeah, you've at least been to the UK. You have somewhat of an idea, whereas I do not. I can't even picture the UK. I can't even visualize it. My wife almost went to the UK. She was supposed to go her junior year of college, undergrad, maybe senior year. And something came up. I don't remember what it was. Something came up and she decided not to go, but she was going until she wasn't. I wonder what it was. I'll have to ask her. I can't remember if maybe she couldn't raise the funds that the class needed to or for whatever, or maybe she just decided against the study abroad opportunity. I'm not sure. Might have been too long. She's a homebody. My wife is a wonderful, wonderful homebody. She is somebody that likes to stay close. Her first flight was our honeymoon to Jamaica. That was her first flight ever. And I'm not a regular flyer by any means, but it certainly wasn't my first flight. I guess I've only been out of the country a handful of times, though. It's not like I'm a frequent traveler. But that's not for a lack of interest. It's for lack of funds. If I could, I'd travel the world, man. But I can't imagine. I can't imagine. It's expensive to just go somewhere for a weekend. But yeah, summertime rendering, definitely worth the listen. I've done this on accident for some reason, but this nerdy sermon that you just watched and the nerdy sermon for this upcoming Sunday are like partners. I didn't do that intentionally. It just happened. They really go together very well. They have very much similar themes. They're both tackling Romans. Really, really interesting. I don't know why they've worked out that way. Doing a ridiculous amount of travel this year because of the way that everything lined up. That sounds nice, though. That sounds nice. Expensive and nice. But yeah, they really related. I don't know why. I've been kind of obsessed with sin. I don't know where that came from, but I've been wanting to really tackle our misconceptions of sin and of what sin is. For those of you that don't know, we are a United Methodist Church plant, and so the United Methodist Church has this document called the Book of Discipline. And within the Book of Discipline are a series of documents. It's kind of like a library in and of itself, of various things that we attribute to our faith. And one of them is called the Articles of Religion. And Article 7 of the Articles of Religion in the Book of Discipline talks a lot about what sin is and how sin is a state of being. And so you're kind of getting a preview of next week's sermon, really. But that's the big argument of Paul in this section, is that sin is not really something we do or someone we are, but instead it's a place that we find ourselves. And the place that is called sin is a place of separation. Separation from God. So being separate from God is what sin is, according to our United Methodist tradition. Some people may affirm that more than others, but I think regardless of whether or not you agree with it or don't agree with it or think that's true or enough or adequate or whatever word you want to put to it, it's what Paul is tapping at here in Romans. He's talking about this form of enslavement, of how we don't have a choice of where we are or who we are enslaved. We do have a choice of who we're enslaved to. We don't have a choice of being enslaved or being free. We're going to be a slave to one master. So the question is, are we a slave to the cause of Christ, or are we a slave of sin? Now singing separation to the tune of tradition. Separation. Well, that's better than me. I went to whatever that band is. Hello, hello. How's it going, Alice in the Palace? How are we doing? Welcome to the stream. We got a couple minutes left here. More ads. No! Oh no, I don't know if we have anybody around that gifts subs. Do we have any of our regular gifted subbers here? Alice needs a sub. Needs that subby wubby. No ads. How are we doing, Alice? How'd your weekend go? We're midweek now, though. It's crazy. This week's flown by. Having Nora home with me on Monday sick has totally messed up my week. And then last week was Labor Day, right? So I have not had Monday 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks of 4-day work weeks is not cutting it. I'm stressed. And then I got a meeting all day today. So I'm in a meeting from literally as soon as I hop off this stream, I'm in a meeting until 2. And then Nora's dance starts at 3. So I've got to get her over there, get her dressed, get her ready for dance. And I sit in the parking lot for an hour while she goes to dance. And then I head home from dance, quickly make dinner, get dinner prepped, and then come back here tonight for Game Together. And then tomorrow, streaming first thing in the morning. Woo! Finished class for today, been unwell earlier in the week, have a job interview in less than an hour. Seriously, though. Seriously. How stressful is it? Hey! There's the sub for Alice. Alice, let me know right or clockwise or counterclockwise, and how hard do you want me to spin that sub wheel? And Yakeem, if you're still here, please let me know. Let me know. Same for you. Gachapon in a movie game.
I'll get you next time. Sonic!
Sonic!
First we must gachapon!
Zando. Oh, wonderful. A page out of my book. Read Nate's book. There we go. Read a page of Nate's book for Zando. While I'm doing that, we'll get a movie game started. For those of you that don't know how movie game goes, it is a combination of two movie titles. I'll be reading off the combined movie titles description if it were real. Zando gets the first guess, really two guesses, and then it's open to the floor. So here we go. Don't answer until Zando gets a chance to answer, please and thank you. Thank you. A freak flying fiasco finds a FedEx exec stranded on an excellent public access television show. A freak flying fiasco finds a FedEx exec stranded on an excellent public access television show. Clockwise as hard as you can. You got it. Here we go. All right. Let's find out what it is. Alice, you need to let me know your address if I don't already have it, because you won a Checkpoint Church mug. I will send you a Checkpoint Church mug. Let me know your address. You can DM it to me or whisper it to me here on Twitch, and I will get that your direction. I feel like I may have your address, but I can't remember for sure. Really free. You won it. So for drinking your tea in, you now have a Checkpoint Church mug. Thank you for the sub and for being gifted the sub. Ukulele took a stab at it, but didn't have it. You don't think you know this one? Oh, come on. You totally do. Now, I'm probably throwing you off with my excellent because it sounds like Keanu Reeves. It is not Keanu Reeves. It is Mike Myers. Does that help? I'm not doing a Keanu Reeves impression. Oh, you do know the second movie. You don't know the first movie? Come on. You totally do. Wilson! That's the hint for the first one. Castle Wayne's World. You got it. You got it, Zando. Castle Wayne's World. Chats in the clap for Zando. Good guess though, Ukulele. If I wasn't doing such a bad Mike Myers impression. Really? Have you never seen it? You've surely seen it. Even if you saw it like 20 years ago, you've seen it, right? You've never seen it. You just said it. I didn't see your response. You've never seen it. That is mind-boggling. I feel like I can't turn on, what's the name of the TV station? What is it? Is it USA? Is USA a TV station? I think that's the name of a TV station, and I feel like they're constantly playing Castaway. Really, Trombone? You've never seen it either? You're kidding me. Can we do a poll? We're going to do a poll, because I need to know. New poll. Have you ever seen Castaway? Yes, no. 1 minute.
New poll alert.
Let me know. Let me know. Polls in the chat. I want to see our results because this is stunning. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Yakeem, I'm just going to spin for you, my friend. I'm going to give you an even clockwise because I haven't heard from you yet. It is blue. It is a Checkpoint Church t-shirt. T-shirt. Yakim, let me know your address. Whisper it to me. DM it to me. I'll be sending you a t-shirt. All yours. All yours. Thank you for your sub. Appreciate you. All right, the poll is up. Poll has ended. It is a landslide. 5-1. No. You guys, y'all are killing me. 5-1 no. That's wild. That is wild. Whoa, big prizes today. Yeah, we got big prizes in the sub wheel. That's why that incentivizes the sub. We want people to sub, support the channel, but we also want to give back to those that do and let them, especially the gifted subs. I love whenever a gifted sub wins a prize because it makes me happy. We restock that every Monday, by the way. So every single week, those prizes get put back in. So we've given away our 1 mug for the week, but next Monday, the chance opens right back up. Stop being entertaining. I need to go inside for work. No, I can't. My goodness, that is so wild. Nobody's seen Castaway. I'm probably going to take to Twitter. You guys know how I go. Normally I take to Twitter after this, so I will probably be asking this question to my Twitter followers.
What's the letter of the day? It's G as in got cap on.
Thank you, Big Bird. All right, Chuck, this will be the last thing that we do. The last thing that we do. Oh no, I gotta do the I gotta do the read my book. The sub wheel. How about that? I think there's only one of these in the gachapon, and you just got it, Chuck. Sub wheel. Let me know, counterclockwise or clockwise, and ferocity. How hard would you like me to spin that bad boy? And in the meantime, I gotta turn to RNGesus. Okay. Counterclockwise, and then what velocity? Out of 191 pages. A 5, half and half, easy. Easy peasy. The exact opposite of what I just did for Yakim. RNGesus 191. Oh, nope, not 1919. $151, there we go. All right, page 151 of the Mirror Mural. This is a book I wrote whenever I was 10 years old. It's very cringy and embarrassing. But it is a trilogy written by a 10-year-old, and that's pretty impressive for what it's worth. Okay, so this is page 151 of the Mirror Mural, presented without context. There's too many characters in this book, too many things happening. Nobody really understands the stories. I used my friends' names and just gave them powers. Sometimes I say really mean things about them that I feel guilty about today. But this is from chapter 33, titled Unexpected Rivals. Enjoy. After this, I'm going to spin the sub wheel, and then we got to go. What are you? Darren tried to move back as Edward pulled out a sharp dagger and stuck it in him. Edward laughed. Now, join all your foolish friends. No, I can't let them down, Darren sighed. Hey, Sergio called to Darren. Check this out. What is it? It's a painting. If I die, what will Sergio think in heaven? Not heaven. No, Paul screamed. Let him go. An evil voice laughed. Die. No idea what's happening right now. All of this is in print. All of this is in what's it called? Italics. So I think this is a flashback. I think I'm writing out a flashback. Yeah. How can I just die without honor? Darren asked. Run, Darren! No! Darren shielded his eyes. I've got to. What's that, Darren? Edward laughed. Do you say, Uncle? I've got to live for them! Darren yelled, ripping off his shirt, revealing hundreds of thousands of scars, everyone with a luminous blue glow peering out from it. These are their souls, and they will live on, so stop calling them dead! You have every one of that master killed... Oh, you have every one that Master killed that day inside you? Edward took an escaping step in amazement. But you'd have to explode. Not this member of the Dresden tribe. Darren walked cockily over to him. But to have 1,000 men, Edward stuttered. That's right. I have the power of 300,263 people inside of me. Now, oh, this is dark. Hey, for our nerdy sermon talkback, go to hell! Darren screeched as thousands of fists and knives came from his body and slammed through Edward's very living being. When it ended, there was not a single drop of blood left. He was completely and utterly obliterated. Come on, boy, the man yelled. Let's go. The man took Darren to the shelter and went to get the next people to fight. Wow. Okay. That went places. That went places I wasn't expecting. Counterclockwise, half speed. Woo, we gotta go! We gotta go!
I got a meeting. I got a meeting in less than a minute. I have a meeting in less than a minute. Orange. Chuck Bartowski, you let me know your address. I'll send you a pack of stickers. Pack of stickers. Woo, a lot of addresses today. Chuck, pack of stickers. Alice in the Palace gets a mug, and Yakeem gets a t-shirt. Folks, I'm gonna go raid somebody. Let's see who's live right now. If you don't know where you are, oh, Jate's live. Should we raid Jate or the lift? Summon Zeltar. It did do something. I just don't have time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll write it down. I'll remember Zeltar the next time I stream, okay? Or the next time you pop in. Let me know that you redeemed a Zeltar that I didn't do. It looks like Jate is live, the lift is live, and Vanguard. I think I saw the lift even pop in on us earlier today. So why don't we go over to the lift, yeah? Folks, we believe three things to be true about every single one of you out there. Number one, we believe that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number two, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on Twitch, Discord, and YouTube. And number three, we believe that you, yes, you, no matter who you are or what you believe, we believe that you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, go spam some You Matters in the chat over the lift. Let him know that I cannot hang out. I've got a meeting that I've got to get to. But I hope that you enjoy his stream. We are Checkpoint Church, a church for nerds, geeks, and gamers, doing this thing, building community here in this space. I so appreciate you being here, tuning in with us, hanging out, and going through these sermons every single week. With that, enjoy the lift. Go spam some You Matters. Bye-bye!